And inside, I'm just saying, God, would you heal my heart just like you healed my wife's body? And I felt when he healed my heart. And I felt when he told me, you could trust me.
Went to sleep. The next morning I wake up, and that's when it hit me that hatred for that man that had killed my brother was gone.
It was almost like a voice that spoke to my heart and said that I didn't need that there was something better. And that immediately, from that point on, I lost the complete desire for drugs.
And Walter knew that I had been healed, but I wanted to be sure before I testified of it. And now I get to testify because I'm absolutely sure that God healed me of depression.
The other two things were strengthened relationships with my family and with my God. November 3rd was the worst and best day of my life.
Hello, everyone. This is Stephen with the Would Somebody Testify podcast. Today with me, I have Dork 1, Dork 2, and Dork 3. Also known as Philip, Isaac, and Joshua Lopez.
Hello, hello.
Thanks for having us on.
How you doing?
Doing all right. So they are here to tell about their death-defying stunt, a.k.a. the time when they were involved in an accident that involved them rolling over in a big truck. Mm-hmm. Well, pickup truck.
Before we get started, let me ask you, Brother Stephen, you've been doing this for a few months. Let me ask you, how has you interviewing these people and hearing their testimonies, how has that affected you, and how has it increased your faith? Or
thanks a lot for putting me on the spot. I put other people on the spot, not the other way around. But it is very faith-building, very interesting to hear stories that I've heard many times and hear it in so much more detail. Like, for instance, your dad, for those of you who don't know, Brother Juan Lopez is their father. Mm-hmm. You may recognize Joshua's voice from a previous episode.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, so Brother Juan's testimony, he talking about how they got lost between Carruthers and Raisin City, and they just happened to stop in front of the kindergarten teacher, the Spanish teacher, mm-hmm. who was able to speak Spanish and lead them to where they needed to go mm-hmm. with just enough time in her schedule to do it. Mm-hmm. I had never heard that part of the story, and I have heard him tell various parts of his salvation story and him moving up from LA many times. Mm-hmm. But it's very interesting to hear these stories and all the ways that God has moved that may not be noticed. Mm-hmm. And I get to meet sometimes some interesting people that I would not have had the chance to talk to in depth.
Yeah. No, that's great. So where do you want us to start?
So obviously before the accident, what was the circumstance of that day? I understand you guys were carrying lacquer. Mm-hmm.
That day was a unique day. This part of the story I don't share a lot just because it really has nothing to do with the story, but it'll kind of give you a taste of the way the day was going. We had to go to the dump and dump a trailer load of trash first. And while we were in line there, my alternator had gone out in that truck. And so the truck died several times while we were in line, had to get it jumped. And I ended up changing the alternator in an O'Reilly's parking lot just down the road. And so it was like 105 degrees. It was terrible.
It was rough.
It was.
We had no tools. Yeah. And we had to go inside and rent tools. Mm-hmm. And then we got the wrong tools. Had to go back inside. Mm-hmm. Tools broke. And then we had to buy those tools. Uh-huh. And it was just.
It was a disaster the whole day.
During COVID, by the way. So we only had one mask in the truck. And we went to go get lunch. And then we had to each give each other the mask once we went and ordered our food and stepped out of the restaurant.
I forgot about that.
Pretty annoying.
This was, for those who don't know, this was September 22nd, 2020. But that kind of gives you an idea of the way the day was going. And we got back to the shop, and my dad had asked me to go pick up some lumber and then pick up some lacquer clear coat, and then some pre-catalyzed lacquer primer for cabinet doors. And so we went and we picked it up. And actually that day, we had pulled up. There's a place in downtown Fresno that's got an old brick building, and I pulled up in front of that for fun. And then Isaac took some pictures of my truck. I mean, hours before, not even hours, a few minutes before the wreck took place. The wreck happened at about, I don't know, what would you say, around 6 in the afternoon? Yeah. 5, 6. I should have looked at the police report. It'll tell you when.
Probably 7.
Probably closer to 7.
Yeah.
It was right at sunset. The sun wasn't down. Is beautiful. I had music going. Joshua was sitting behind the passenger seat. Isaac was in the passenger seat, and I was driving. And I had my cruise set at exactly 55. Normally, and especially at that time, I used to speed a whole lot. But this day, I was driving the speed limit.
Praise God.
Yes. I'm going to try my best for those of you listening that I can't talk with my hands and demonstrate the way this wreck took place. So I'm going to try my best to describe it, just describe it and paint you as colorful of a picture as I can. I was driving westbound, so at sunset. I've got the sun in my eyes, but I had sunglasses and a visor. I could see clearly. And I could see approaching me 3 cars. There was the car that ended up hitting me, gray Chevy pickup, and then something else. I don't remember what it was. And I noticed the car in front of me. It was a 2014 Honda Accord, and he moved over into my lane. Like he was probably on his phone is what I guessed. And so I really didn't do anything. I thought in any moment he's going to jerk back. Well, he didn't. He kept coming over. So I moved over. And as he moved over, I moved over. But because I didn't move over at the beginning, it was kind of a losing battle. I'd move and he'd move even more. And I was all the way completely off the road. My shoulder.
You had a train horn.
Yes, I forgot about this. I had a train horn on this truck. This truck, this is for the men listening to this podcast. This truck, I'm going to describe it real quick. This was a 2002 Ford F-250 with a 7.3 liter turbo diesel engine in it. 5-inch exhaust from the headers. Or from the exhaust manifold. It was super loud. Had a train horn on it. Had, what was it, an 8-inch lift?
Yeah.
35-inch tires. I mean, it was lifted. All the undercarriage was blue and silver. It had underglow and all kinds of other stuff. That it was a cool truck.
Beautiful interior.
Yeah. So I was completely off the road. The only part of me touching any kind of paved surface was my 2 driver's side tires, and they were on the shoulder. They're over the white line, but they're on the shoulder. And he hit me going about 65 miles an hour. At this time, I had been slowing down. I was probably doing about 45, I'm guessing. I really don't know. He hit the driver's side rear axle of my truck, and he hit it with such force that he took that entire half of the axle off. So if you look under the back of a truck and you see that big pumpkin looking thing, from that point all the way to the tire, he took the wheel, the hub, every piece of that axle came off. And he took that one way, and because he hit me in the rear, it shot the front of my truck immediately to the left. So now instead of facing west, I'd be facing south. I immediately turned left. And now, because this truck was so tall, if you immediately turn left like that at 45 miles an hour even, your truck is still wanting to go westbound. So my truck started to roll. Best I can tell, according to the police reports, the truck rolled 3 times. It landed upside down on the opposite side of the road from where I was, facing the opposite direction I was going.
My understanding was that they got the 3 times from the lady who lived at the house near where you rolled. Said she heard it roll at least 3 times.
That might have, yeah. I was in the truck, and previous to this, I had rolled a truck before, and this one was much worse. I mean, it was, the only thing going through my head was, when is this going to end? Like, I just crunch, continually going on, and then finally skidding to a stop, and that was it. So now I look up, and I forget where I read this, but I know mountain climbers, when they get disoriented and are buried under snow, they will spit and see which direction the spit goes. If it goes up, that means you're upside down. If it goes down, then you're right side up. I had no idea where I was, how I was positioned. I was pinned pretty bad. I didn't really hurt. What hurt most, not so much sore, but the lacquer that was in the back of the truck, because it was really hot, I put it inside the cab foolishly. It had exploded, and one can kind of took me, and one can kind of took Joshua. And it got in my eyes, ears, nose, mouth. It was all over my head. Joshua had it a little worse. He had it all over his face, but he also got a pretty big portion down his shirt and on his chest. It was real bad. My point of view, I spit and I watched the saliva go up past me. So I said, okay, I must be upside down. And the first thing I yelled, I said, "Is everyone okay?" And I remember Isaac yelled, "Yeah, I'm good." I'm like, okay. And then I yelled, "Joshua."
And apparently, I don't remember doing this, but apparently I just screamed. I don't remember this.
Like, are you okay?
I really don't remember doing that.
I remember this. I thought in just the first thought that went through my head when I heard that scream, I thought he is really, really injured. So I thought I'm going to stay here in this position for a while. They're going to have to tend to him first. The next thing I knew, I saw Isaac's face come in. It would be like coming from above me and looking in, and he had a big grin on his face. And I said, "Here, cut my seatbelt." And so he cut my seatbelt, and I didn't realize this, but the man driving that gray Chevy truck behind the vehicle that hit me, he was standing there next to Isaac. And so he was also wearing the same color shirt as Isaac. So when he pulled me out, that man was actually who drugged me out, and it had to be pretty strong. And I thought, man, Isaac's really strong to drag me out. I mean, this is before Isaac was, he was a lot smaller than he is now. And he's strong enough he could do it now. But back then, I thought, man, he's strong. And as I came out, my face kind of hit the dirt and a little pebble stuck to the top of one of my eyelids. And the neighbor, not the lady's house we landed in front of, but next door to her, the man had come out, and the look on his face was just terrifying. He looked at me and goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." And I thought, am I missing something? Am I bleeding that I don't feel it, or what's going on? And he goes, "You got something on your eye." And it was that pebble. I didn't know it. And so I said, "Well, I just get it out." It was what I said. And he goes, "Oh, what about COVID?" And I thought, I just almost died. I'm not scared of COVID, man. So he took care of that. Now, this is the part of the story I don't remember all that well. Somehow I got from the truck to the lady's house. Isaac said he drugged me there. Isaac didn't get a whole bunch of lacquer. He got a little bit in his eye, but he was the one that kind of kept his wits about him. And I'll stop here and I'll let you guys kind of tell your point of view. Or do you want to go, Isaac? Okay.
All right. So I'll back up a little bit. So we're driving down the road, and I remember we were vibing, jamming to a Kenny G song, saxophones going. We're just cruising, having fun, and we see this car coming to our lane, and Philip goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And then it was kind of like a slideshow for me, the way it my eyes, I guess I was opening and shutting my eyes, but it was, the car hit us and I felt the impact, and then it was just, the noise was going, what you can guess a wreck sounds like. But after that, I remember looking down and seeing my shoulder scrape the pavement when we were rolling, and I was like, "Oh, I should lift that up." That's the one thing I remember about us rolling. I remember us stopping upside down, and I was buckled, but I don't remember unbuckling. But when I came to, you guess I could say, I was on my hands and knees on the ceiling of the truck. I don't know how I got there, if I unbuckled or if I ended up like that. I don't remember that. But I remember Philip saying, "Is everybody okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." I got out of the truck, and I was like, "Joshua, are you okay?" Because he was screaming, because the lacquer was burning him. And so, but I didn't know that at the time. I got him out of the truck, and his whole front of the shirt was covered in lacquer, which I didn't know it was lacquer, but I thought it was blood, and I thought his chest was crushed and was bleeding. So I immediately yanked him and lifted up his shirt, checked him. He was not.
The thing you're supposed to do with someone with a crushed chest.
Yeah. So he was screaming. I drug him over to that lady's house and got him a water hose because he was burning. That stuff burns really bad. I had it in my left eye, but the adrenaline, I didn't feel it until later. But I took him over there, and then Philip, I went to go check on him, and he was pinned in between the rear window, the brace, you could say. I don't know what you would call it, between the front door and the back door. He was pinned in between that and his front seat. His front seat had reclined, so his head was kind of popping out the driver's side back window. And I was like, "Can you get out?" And he's like, "No, I'm stuck. Cut my seatbelt." So I grabbed my knife, cut his seatbelt, and his foot was on the dash or center console or something, and he pushed off. And so I was like, oh, he's fine. He can get out, because he was smiling, and he was fine. He said, take your time, whatever. And I was like, oh, he's fine. I'm going to go take care of Joshua, because Joshua's still over there in pain. So I go over there, and I didn't realize later that he moved a couple inches and then got stuck again because his arms were pinned beside him. He couldn't pull himself out. But I went over to Joshua, checked on him, and then Philip was stumbling around. He could not see and was yelling, somebody get me water, somebody get me water. Mm-hmm. Well, that neighbor man had a bottle of water and was handing it to him, but a bottle of water only goes so far when your whole face and head is on fire, it feels like. Mm-hmm. So I dragged him over to the water hose, and I was just taking turns shoving the water hose in Joshua's face, and because he was screaming, and then shoving in Philip's face, he would, give me the hose, give me the hose. And so it was just back and forth, back and forth. Then after I got them there, went back to we had a toolbox in the back of the truck that had tools in it, and they were all scattered all over the road. The windshield had came off. It was still in one piece as far as it's glued together, and it was in the middle of the road. The back glass was too. So I was going to clean the road, and there was a couple of guys there already cleaning it off. And he said, your adrenaline's going too hard. You need to sit down. And I was like, no, I'm fine. And he said, sit down. I said, okay. So went back over to the hose. Dad? I went back to the hose, and then I called Dad, and I tried to sound more calm because I knew my adrenaline was going. I was excited, I guess, or whatever adrenaline. So I tried to sound calm, but Dad said whenever I called him, I was speaking at 100 miles an hour, and he could not understand me. I told Dad we had a wreck, which it was, what do you say, 5 miles from the shop?
5 minutes, maybe, not miles.
5 minutes from our cabinet shop. Mm-hmm. And so I'll hand the story back to Philip.
This I remember Dad pulling up, and this is the time the firefighters had showed up by then, and they it was kind of funny. They had a little cotton swab, and they said, what part of your face hurts? And I was like, everywhere. And so they tried to do a little piece, get a little bit of the lacquer out of my eye, and a cotton swab's not going to do. I knew that wouldn't work. I had been literally clawing at my skin trying to get this off. It had totally glued my hair stiff. I blew my nose 100 times in the water hose trying to get it out. It was a disaster. And I remember when Dad walked up, he came racing over, and Joshua caught Dad's eye. He was sitting in a chair, and he smiled and gave Dad a big thumbs up, like, hey, we're okay. Yeah. And we weren't quite as okay as he thought, but the lady in the house, she came over and she gave us some kind of shampoo it was really strong stuff. She said her husband was a mechanic and it was supposed to get grease out, and that part is real. I just know she gave me some soap, and that started to kind of cut it. And Joshua, do you remember?
Yeah, I remember we were driving home, and I was actually looking down when I remember like feeling all the bumps and stuff, and Philip's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. As I look up, then I see the guy like halfway in our lane already, and then I hear the hit, just the boom. I don't remember like feeling the impact at all. And then us sliding sideways. And then I remember us beginning to roll, and then seeing the gravel come closer and closer to my window. And I was like, that's not good. And then boom, boom, boom. We start rolling. I opened my eyes a couple times during the rolling and saw something fly past my face. Don't really remember. I don't remember stopping or them saying anything to me. But the next thing I remember was I was halfway out of the truck pulling myself out, and my seatbelt was catching me. And the man that pulled Philip out was running towards me, and he began to pull me out. And that's when he realized my seatbelt had caught me. So he shoved me back in and said, unbuckle your seatbelt. And since my knees were on the roof of the car, the truck, I was just like I was like everywhere. So I finally hit my seatbelt thing, and then I pull myself out, and I remember laying on the shoulder on the opposite side of the road for like maybe a second or two, and then realizing I'm literally laying on Manning Avenue. I'm probably going to get hit by a car, not realizing traffic had already stopped like way before this.
For
And-
those who don't know the road Manning, it's a 2-lane country road. It's as close to a main road as you can get, going between seemingly nowhere. It's if I remember right, its one claim to fame is that it connects Interstate 5 and Highway 99. It's as Phil mentioned, it does have a fairly decent shoulder at that, but for a good chunk of it. So it's a nicely paved road, reasonably busy for a country road.
Mm-hmm.
Not something it's not a country road you lay in. It is busy enough.
Yeah. Get up.
But I remember getting up, and that's when the neighbors to the lady's house that we stopped in front of, they came out and they were like, well, let's go get some waters. That's when they were talking with Philip about the rock in his eye. They were like, well, let's go get some waters. I was like, well, I'll go help him. And I took like 2 steps and realized I can't see anything. And I was like stumbling around and I was like, I'm soaked and I can't see. And I was like, this kind of burns. And then that's when like the realization hit me. What if I never see again? I was like, man, this just got really fast. And that's when I really started like panicking. And I was like, I don't even know what I was saying, but Isaac eventually dragged me over to the water hose. And then I just remember like fighting over the water hose in this lady's front yard as she's on the phone with 911. 991. She was talking like Spanglish, Spanish and English. And when she was on the phone with the police or the dispatcher, she said in Spanish, a big truck had rolled. And in Spanish, that could be interpreted as a semi-truck. So, correct me if I'm wrong. There was how many fire trucks?
There's 1 fire truck, 2 ambulances.
2 fire trucks showed up, 1 left.
Oh, that's
2
right.
ambulances,
I thought it was 3.
and
The sheriff was there first, and then a highway patrol.
highway patrol and about 8 sheriffs
Yeah.
showed up.
There was a lot of people there.
Mm-hmm.
Really fast. I remember fighting over the water, and it burned bad.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady, Philip had so much of it in his ear, he just kept digging in his ear with his finger. And she's like, do you want a Q-tip? He's like, yeah, sure. So she went and got him one, and we were using that, and she brought us some paper towels, and we tried to clean up after ourselves, which was really funny because there was just like this mound of paper towels and Q-tips that we had used to clean up with. And we started emptying our pockets because now we're drenched with the water. And she had a Chevy Tahoe right there.
Mm-hmm.
We were setting everything on the bumper of the car. And that's when I'll let Philip take this, but one of the cops came over and asked for his license as he's screaming with the water hose in his face.
I had got enough relief that I thought I was done fighting with the water hose. I thought it's not going to get any better until I get some kind of medical something on my face. It hurts. It's not going away. So I just sat down. I was leaned up against the Tahoe, and this sheriff's deputy asked for my license. And so I was still so out of it. I just handed him my wallet, and the lacquer had already dried. It had gotten in on my wallet, and he tried to take my license out of the thing, and he ended up having to just tear the little plastic piece off. And then he took my license. He ended up giving it to a CHP, and I got it back later. But I thought it was kind of funny that once he seen that, he didn't ask me too many questions. He said, I'll be back with you. You just take care of yourself. Later, the CHP came over after we were finished. The firefighters had come, and we were all a little
Tell
more
them about the paramedics.
Oh yeah,
helping you.
I didn't realize I had blood coming down my right elbow, and it had kind of soaked the sleeve. And of course, I was now soaked with water too, trying it. So it kind of exaggerated it. And the paramedics were asking if we wanted to go to a hospital. And of course, you always say no matter your arm's chopped off. You don't go to a hospital. You drive yourself.
Be a man.
But, and so we're like, no, we don't want to go. And one of them says, well, what about your arm there? You've got something, and I was like, oh, it's fine. And then I looked, I was like, oh, that looks bad. So one of the paramedics cut my sleeve off, and then they started to bandage. All I had was just a little cut on my elbow. It just bled a lot. It looked worse than it actually was. It was just a little scar. That was the only lasting thing I had from it, just that little scar on my elbow.
I was joking with Philip later. I said that the female paramedic just wanted to see your muscles. That's why she had to cut off your shirt. It was just the sleeve, though.
the CHP officer got our story, and they came over. They loaded up the truck on the tow truck, and they took it back to our shop. That's where we dropped it. We went back the next day when it was, by the time they got out of there, the sun had set and it was dark. But with the truck right side up again, we kind of walked around it and looked, and we'd pull little things here. I mean, oh, look, this is part of this, and this came off, and this came off. And it really started to sink in. I should have died here. I really shouldn't have made it out. And then we kind of tried to recreate it. Okay, how did I get out of the truck? And then that's when I realized I didn't go out the windshield or even the driver window. I came out the driver side back window. It's a 4-door truck, so it was the window behind the driver's seat. And then I looked, the driver's seat had slightly reclined and broken and kind of contained me enough that I was able to slide out kind of to the side and squeeze through that little hole. But the roof was so caved in, at one point it was touching the center console, so it kind of split the truck in half. So if you were sitting in the driver's seat, you couldn't see, you couldn't really see anything, but you couldn't see anything. But it was just enough. And the more I looked, I thought, this is really the hand of God. I should have died here. I shouldn't have made it out. According to the police report, I should have been decapitated on had it rolled one more time. The way I was being ejected from the vehicle, the way I was headed out. And so it was nothing.
His steering wheel where your hands would go at 10 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
they say. Mm-hmm. Right there, those two spots had hit the pavement. Mm-hmm. The windshield had broken and mm-hmm. had grinded down to where the metal was purplish blue.
Yeah. No, the steering wheel had gone upside down, so it was now at the top position, and that hit scrape. That's how low. I mean, it was down to nothing. It was pretty badly destroyed. This I want to share for your audience. This is kind of a unique detail. I don't know if I've ever shared this with too many people. I've probably shared it with some. When I first bought that truck back in August, I'm going to share the amount, and there's a reason I'm going to share the amount. But my dad told me when I first bought it, he said, I want you to dedicate that truck to the Lord. He told me a story that he had a truck previous before he was married. And he said when he bought it, he got a good deal on it. And he said, and he prayed over his truck. He said, Lord, I want to dedicate my truck to you. I'll take people to camp meetings. I won't play bad music. I won't go to bad places. I want to use this for your glory. I want to put my vehicle. I want to dedicate it to you. And he said the Lord blessed him with it. That truck had almost no issues. He took it back east several times, and he made his money back when he sold it. The Lord really blessed that vehicle. And he told me, he said, you should do the same with this truck. And so I did. I paid $8,000 for that truck. When the insurance all settled, it came out to 16. The Lord took care of me in that regard. And I'm not saying that so much that it's, oh, wow, look at this or whatever. But the Lord had his hand in the wreck, that he protected me and saved my life. I mean, that would have been enough. But he kept his hand all the way through, that I had dedicated that truck to his service and said, Lord, this is yours to use. And just to let your audience know that if you give something to the Lord says, try me and see if I won't return.
I'm going to back up real quick. I forgot this one detail. Mm-hmm. Right as the car was merging into our lane, I remember saying the first thing that came to mind was help us, Jesus. Mm-hmm. And then impact. Yeah. As soon as we hit. And he did help us. Mm-hmm. You want to back up, Joshua, and talk about what happened to you, your injuries?
Yeah. Basically, once that officer came over and asked for Philip's license, it was still in pain, and I tried to move. I felt something in my head, and I basically went to scratch my head, and all my hair moved together as one. Like the lacquer mm-hmm. had basically glued all my hair together, and I was like, man, that's gonna be bad. And I still remember I couldn't hardly see. I was like barely opening my eyes, and one of the firefighters, he had some saline, and he was rubbing my eyes. I was sitting down in a chair at that point. He was rubbing my eyes with it, trying to get some of it out, and it didn't really do anything. It was just water, basically. And the lady had that soap that Philip was talking about, and she goes, "Here, try this on it." And the firefighter goes, "Man, we can't use that. It's not, we're not like permitted to use it or whatnot. And Dad was there at that point, and Dad goes, well, if you can't use it, I can. I'm the dad. Step aside. And he gets some of it, pours it in his hands, rubs it, and then just starts rubbing my eyes. And it really did start breaking down some of the...
It was funny to see Joshua. Dad was just going to town on his eyes. Screaming at Joshua was just trying to endure. His head was...
Luckily, I was sitting down.
It was funny.
But after he would get the water hose and rinse my eyes out and then do it. We did it like 3 or 4 times, and I could see a whole lot better. And then he's like, well, let's try your hair. And so he tried it, and then by the time Mom got there, she had brought us all a change of clothes. And she came over and tried to work some of the junk out of my hair. And the lady was helping her too. By the end of the night, my head hurt so bad and not much came out. And my eyes were pretty much bloodshot from all the rubbing and the irritation. And they pulled my shirt off of me. And by that time, everybody was there. And I was 13 at this point. It was very awkward. And then the lady brought out one of her husband's T-shirts, and it was way oversized. And then they put it on me and gave me a towel on. So I was just like covered up. I was like, quit looking at me. It was very weird, but it felt a lot better. And yeah.
No, we feel very blessed and very thankful that the Lord protected us. I mean, we came out.
So out of all that, we ended up with you got a scraped shoulder and lacking your face and hair, which didn't damage your eyes or your hair or your face. Well, besides, you're kind of ugly. That was already
existing.
That was already there.
Joshua had lacquer in his face, eyes, chest.
Mm-hmm.
None of that affected you.
No problem.
And just got a scraped shoulder and a little bit in my eye.
Yeah.
And we all went to the eye doctor to get our eyes checked out, and
so there was no damage.
There's no damage.
Nothing.
The Lord really had his hand upon us. You can't look at that incident and go, oh, they just happened. Oh, look, they're so lucky. The hand of God is all over that wreck. Brother Denver came over to the shop, our pastor, and looked at the truck. At the day after, I believe. And that he said the same thing. I mean, you look at that, he goes, there's no way someone should have survived this. And as good as, we never even went to a hospital. And it wasn't like, because we were rough and we didn't have any lasting injuries. The Lord had his hand upon us.
Yeah.
Your scrape was the only blood?
Yeah, just a cut on my elbow. They didn't have any blood.
You go rolling in a wreck and not even minor cuts.
Mm-hmm.
They said in the report, if we would have rolled one more time, we were so close to this grape vineyard it was like 3 or 4 rows that's separated the 2 houses, the lady's house that we landed in front of, and then the other neighbor. If we would have rolled one more time, we would have hit the post. Not only that would have been bad, but Philip would have been decapitated, no doubt, if we would have rolled one more time. And
how far did we roll?
They according to the police report, it's estimated about 250 feet.
Oh.
So it was a good distance.
Yeah.
Until they repaved that road, there was the other can of the lacquer undercoater. It's a white color. It had flew out the window, and it just painted the side of the road. And for years, until I think it was last year, they repaved that road.
Yeah.
But for every time I drive by, I'd see that mark on the road. And it's just a thank you, Jesus. It was just a reminder every single time without fail. It's a big white mark. It's hard to miss. And you just drive by and say, praise the Lord. I could have been died right there.
Dad said when he pulled up, he was looking for Philip's big old truck. And
I had told him, he asked, because I told him we got in a wreck, and he said, is everybody okay? And I said, yeah, we're all fine. And he went to go pull up and went to go see it and was like, this is not fine. Once he seen the truck, he was like, there's got to be broken arms. Because he asked if everybody was alive, and I said yes. So he was expecting broken arms or...
Yeah.
Well, I said everybody was alive.
Yeah, but that's what he was expecting.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when the thumbs up thing, when he came around the vineyard, Dad doesn't run often. Normally, most people don't see him run. But
Shout out, Dad.
He was running, and he had a very panicked look on his face, and that's why I gave him the thumbs up. Looking back now, it's just kind of funny, but
My dad's fast. I've never once beat him in a race before.
Yeah.
Never once. And he was moving fast that day.
Yeah. But
No, it was the hand of God on.
yeah, no doubt.
That Sunday, I remember, not that Sunday, the Saturday night, that happened on a Friday, I
No, it
think.
was a Tuesday.
I believe.
Tuesday.
we said
Well, it was
everything-
Wednesday night. Then
Yeah.
whichever the next service was, we showed up. I testified, and I remember just thinking, maybe God has a plan for my life. That's the reason He spared my life, and that happened in 2020 and over the last 5+ years. I can just see the hand of God moving in my life, and just, and your guys' too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a miracle.
Mm-hmm. Really is.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for making time and coming on.
No, of course.
Oh yeah, thank you for
Thanks
setting
for
all
having
this
us
up.
on.
And
Yeah.
Been a great host.
It's always a pleasure.
And thank you all for listening.